Today, I'd like to share a clever trap within the elephant gambit. Let's start with the opening moves, e4, e5. After your opponent develops their knight, you can play the move d5, offering a gambit of a pawn. At this point, they have a choice. They can either capture your pawn on d5 or push their pawn to d4 to defend their knight. Regardless of their choice, we'll continue along the same line. You respond by developing your knight. Let's say they capture your e5 pawn. You recapture it with your queen. Now, in this position, their knight is under attack, and they likely don't want to lose it or move the same piece twice due to basic opening principles. So, they play d4 to defend the knight. Here's where things get interesting. You'll develop your other knight, which can lead to some trouble for your opponent. They can play the move bishop to c4 at this point, which appears to be a strong move. This move targets the f7 pawn, the knight on e5, along with bishop poses a threat. In this situation, you can actually play the move queen to g2. This move attacks their rook and also defends your queen by targeting the rook on h1. If your opponent decided to give a check by capturing the pawn on f7, you can move your king to e7. Now, your opponent might consider moving their rook to safety. If they choose to defend with queen to f3, you can simply capture their queen. After they recapture with the knight, you can take their bishop on f7, gaining material. Another defense they might try is moving their rook to a safe square, where it is protected by the king. In this case, you can continue with the same plan, capture their knight on e5, and if they recapture your knight on e5, you can capture their bishop. Despite their tactical attempt, by following these moves, you can achieve an advantageous position and even gain material. In this position, there's a clever move available, bishop to g4. This move attacks the white queen, and the queen doesn't have a safe square to retreat to. Additionally, you can start activating your other rook and bishop, which adds to the potential threat. Commonly, white responds with queen to d4 to both protect the threatened pieces and relocate the queen to a safer spot. However, there's a strong move for you in this situation, rook to d8. Although it may seem like the rook is hanging, if your opponent captures it, you have a powerful response. After they take your rook, you can play bishop to b4 plus check, which not only wins the queen, but also leads to checkmate. Exploring the alternatives, if capturing your rook isn't feasible, and moving their queen to safety doesn't suffice due to potential checkmates, your opponent might try to give a check. Let's consider their options. If they give a check, for example, with the move queen to c4, you have a strategic response. You play king to g6, moving your king to safety. Capturing the pawn on f6 might lead to a series of checks, so it's not advisable at this point. Now, they might attempt to develop their knight to c3, which defends the square where your bishop on g4 is causing trouble. At this stage, you have another powerful move, bishop to b4. This move might look like you're sacrificing a piece, but it's a well-calculated tactic. If they capture your bishop on b4, here's where the real brilliance of your strategy comes into play. You bring your other rook into the game with a check on e8. The key point is that the opponent's king has no squares to escape to, and your rooks and bishop are covering all potential escape routes. The usual response for your opponent is to block with their bishop on e3. At this point, their position seems solid, their pieces are defended, and it appears they have a favorable position. However, this is where you unleash the next brilliant move, rook takes e3. Now, they might think about bringing their knight to e2, but that's thwarted by your other rook, resulting in checkmate. They are forced to recapture your rook with their pawn. You have yet another stunning move, queen to d2. This move, backed up by your rook on e8, delivers a checkmate on the d2 square. The coordinated action of your pieces creates a dangerous net that your opponent can't escape from. This trap indeed has multiple layers and potential pitfalls for your opponent. It's a sequence that can catch white off guard and lead to a swift victory for black. Feel free to share if you've successfully employed this trap in your games. Now, it's time for a puzzle. In the given position, it's white's turn, and you need to find the best move for white. Share your answers in the comments, and let's see how many of you can solve it correctly. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with future videos. Take a moment to check out the other videos appearing on your screen right now. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care and peace.